What's up everyone and welcome back to another video. So as you probably know, peace control is a super popular topic within the Fortnite community. Especially when it comes to improvement, one of the first things many players think of when they think of getting better at the game is improving their peace control, and there's a good reason for that. Having good, consistent peace control is one of the most important factors that separates pros and high-level competitive players from casuals. And in today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to master peace control in Fortnite Chapter 4. Before we get into it though, be sure to drop a like if you find this video helpful, consider subscribing if you're new to the channel and want to see more videos just like this, and if you'd like to show some extra support, then feel free to use code TECHO in the item shop. It's 100% free for you, it only takes a few seconds to type in, and it seriously helps me out a ton. As always, a big thank you to everyone who's using it. But with that said, and without further ado, let's get into today's video. So starting off this video, guys, the first thing I want to cover is the basics of peace control, basically just an introduction to what peace control is, and then some of the fundamental techniques that you should learn first. So first of all, peace control is defined as controlling the fight using your builds and edits. Basically, your goal is to fully box up your opponents so they have nowhere to go, then get a good peek on them, and then get the kill safely and quickly. So for example, I'll go ahead and show you guys a clip from my gameplay where I use some basic peace control to win a fight. So at the start of this clip, I run into a player and I get a decent shot off. I build a wall between us. This is all pretty standard stuff, but the peace control comes into play once he tries to ramp up. I quickly edit through, build a cone above him so he can't get up top, and wrap walls around him. At this point, he does have the door on my left to exit through, but turning away from me basically means almost certain death. All in all, he's boxed like a fish. So after that, I break his ramp, I place a cone so he's exposed, and I secure the easy kill. Sorry Twitch kid, but you're no match for the big Techo. As you can see from that clip though, my main goal was to have the player boxed up so I can control the fight, and in turn I ended up getting an easy kill. That's the primary idea of peace control, is to use your builds and edits to control the fight. That being said, here's a quick replay of the fight so you can see it in full speed.
I'm definitely dead. Shit. 102. Got two.
Knocked. So moving on from that, before we get into any creative maps or anything like that, I do want to lay down some fundamental techniques that you should learn. These are going to be the most fundamental peace control techniques just to get you a decent mechanical baseline before we get into the more advanced stuff. If you just want the creative maps, then you can feel free to head to the timestamp on screen, but if your peace control isn't quite as developed yet, I'd recommend you start off by learning these techniques. Alrighty guys, so here we are in creative, and I have 4 different techniques to show you guys. So once again, these are going to be kind of the basic peace control techniques that I think you guys should learn before you get into the more advanced stuff. These are kind of just the fundamentals, the 4 things that you want to know right away. So starting off with our first technique, and we have the cone and box. Now you actually saw me doing this in the clip that I just showed you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit more in depth. So really what we're practicing here is pretty much any situation in which you're in front of a box just like this and you want to get a cone inside. Getting a cone inside somebody's box really just makes it so they're exposed to you if you get the wall. So for example, if I can get someone into a situation like this where I break their wall, boom, I get a cone inside their box. Now they either have to turn completely away from me to get out of the box, or they just have to hope for the best and try to go for a 50-50. So you can do this in a variety of ways. There's a lot of different ways you can get a cone inside somebody's box. For example, you can kind of come from this side. You can just break it, edit, boom, right hand peek, and you get it in like that. Or you can be on a ramp or something like that. You can break through, top right corner edit, place a cone in, and then you can kind of go for this nice little peek and reset and just do whatever you want to do to get them obviously eliminated. Or you could even do something as simple as just going up to the wall, boom, window, cone, and then you're done. The beauty of having a cone in somebody's box is really just that there's nothing they can do, because if they're going to try to get out of their box, they have to actually turn away from you and edit out, in which case you have a free shot. And even if they try to just jump out and totally 50-50 you also have this right hand peek right here, or you should at least have a right hand peek, which makes it a super easy kill for you. So moving on to our second technique, this is going to be a technique you can use when somebody's in the open, or when they're kind of just running around near you, or whatever that might be. So what this is called is the forward box, or the full box, or whatever you want to call that. And basically all you're doing here is you're editing through. You can do a window, you can do a full edit, whatever you want to do. And what you're doing here is you're putting a cone on the bottom first, and then on the top, and then you're just wrapping walls around. So as you can see, if I'm the opponent right here and I just got hit with a full box, I'm unable to do anything. Really, my only options as the opponent are to completely just break out of the box like this, in which case it's a free shot, or I can go straight up for the 50-50, but once again, if you have that right hand peek, you're going to win that 9 out of 10 times. Overall, getting full box is pretty much devastating, and it's definitely something you should learn. There are quite a few ways to approach the full box, but personally, I think the window option is just the simplest. It's super quick, it's pretty easy to do. And if you don't want to expose yourself as much, you can also kind of just edit through like on something like this, go on the right hand side like that. Overall though, that's another really important one. Moving on from that, our third peace control move is going to be the side box. The side box is exactly what it sounds like. It's basically a full box out to the side. So for example, if my opponent's right here in front of me, the side box is basically me going out to his right side just like this, full boxing just like that. You can also do it to the left. It's a bit harder to the left, but the same concept still applies. And really the main use for the side box is when somebody's actually editing out to the side like this. For example, if your opponent's editing out like this and you're full boxing them from the side, they're basically just walking into a bunch of your builds and edits. So you probably have a situation like this and they're stuck in here. And all in all, the side box is a really important move to know because it's super consistent and a lot of people actually fall for it. And moving on to our final fundamental piece control technique, and this is the ramp full box. What the ramp full box is basically full boxing someone that's on a ramp. So something like this. You kind of saw me do a variation of that in the clip as well before I did the cone in the box. But basically all you're doing here is they're on a ramp, you're going to place a cone above them and you're going to wrap walls around them. Now from here, what I generally like to do in this situation is I just go out to the right side like this and I get a nice right hand peek like that. But if you're a psychopath, you can also just break their ramp and then place a cone and then 50-50 them, or you can do any number of things. But yeah guys, so those are the 4 techniques I recommend you start off by learning for piece control if you're more of a beginner. What I recommend you do is you kind of just hop into your own world and you take it one at a time. For example, if I'm doing the cone in the box, I literally just go set it up and just practice doing that over and over again. You can even go in like kind of like a line like this. You go here, break the wall, do that. Go here, break the wall, do that. And basically you just do that on and on. You can do the same thing for the forward box, the side box, the full box. And yeah, guys, hopefully that helps. And then I think once you progress from this, you're ready for the creative maps. So with that said, let's go do the creative maps. So now that we've gone over the concept of piece control and some of the techniques you should start off with, for this next section, we're going to get into some creative maps that I really like when it comes to improving your piece control. And for this section, we're going to start off with Raiders Piece Control Map V3. Raiders map is basically the ultimate piece control map in Fortnite, with over 25 piece control scenarios to choose from, including piece control tunnels, and a wide range of scenarios from beginner to advanced. This is a super well-rounded map where you can hop in and grind out some piece control moves. What I generally recommend regarding Raiders map is to hop in and choose 3 to 5 different scenarios. Run each of these scenarios for a couple of minutes. I find around 5 minutes to be a good option, and simply grind them out. Over time, you're eventually going to get through more and more scenarios and become more familiar with each of the techniques, and then they're going to carry over into your real gameplay. Hypothetically, if you were to do around 5 scenarios a day for 5 minutes each, you'd cycle through all the main scenarios every 5 days and get through them all around 6 times each per month, which is quite a bit considering there are 25 different regular scenarios alongside the tunnels. So overall, Raiders map is a tremendous map when it comes to learning piece control, and I absolutely recommend you start using it if you haven't already, since it teaches you a ton of different scenarios and really helps you to improve your overall mechanics as well. So with that said, I'll put the code up on screen right now for Raiders Piece Control Map. Moving on to our next map though, and next up we've got Titos Realistic Edit / Piece Control Map V4. That's a mouthful. This map is a bit different from Raiders primarily because of the variety. Not only does Titos map have slightly different scenarios in both easy and advanced difficulty, but it also has an awesome editing section, once again ranging from easy to advanced. The piece control section is self-explanatory as it features a ton of different scenarios where you need to piece control the target, and it's definitely a useful section. The editing section is somewhat similar in the sense that you're shooting targets and whatnot, but this section is set up in sort of like an edit course type of environment. So if you struggle with consistently hitting your edits, this section can be incredibly useful, and even if you're already pretty good at that, it can still be good to top up on those skills, since they do carry over very significantly to your piece control. As well as that, the map has a tunnel section where you can practice piece control tunnels, where you basically go through a tunnel of builds and you try to piece control through them all. That's just like the ones in Raiders map. It also has the free build section where you can grind out some builds and edits, and it has the box fight section where you can take your piece control moves and practice them against real targets that are randomly dispersed. All in all, practicing your fundamentals with editing is absolutely crucial, and this is something really important that Titos map offers, as well as the awesome piece control drills. So all in all, Titos map is a fantastic option for improving your piece control and your fundamentals with building and editing. So I'll put the code up on screen right now so you can check it out. Moving on to the last part of today's video, and I want to briefly discuss something called piece control 1v1s. As far as I know, I pretty much invented this concept, but I really do think it's a beneficial practice method to learn piece control. For piece control 1v1s, what you want to do is hop into a build fight map with a friend, and what you do is both of you treat it like a regular build fight, except all you do is piece control. So your goal is not just to kill your opponent, but your goal is to piece control them. You can choose whether to carry a gun or not when you're doing this. Personally, my preferred opinion is to not hold one, that way your entire focus is on building and editing. What this does is it helps you get some piece control techniques down in a zero pressure environment, while also giving you the benefit of real situations against a real player, so you can kind of experiment with different things without having to worry about losing the fight. All in all, this is a fantastic option to improve your piece control. You can do it in just about any 1v1 map, which is fantastic as well. And just a quick side note, if you don't have anybody to do these with, then you can feel free to find someone in my Discord server. In the server, all you have to do is select your region, and then you're going to gain access to a looking for group chat where you can find people to play with in arena, tournaments, regular games, or creative. So with that said, the link to the Discord is going to be down in the description if you want to check that out and find someone to do this practice method with. But with all that said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video on how to master peace control in Fortnite Chapter 4. Overall, by understanding the concept of peace control, learning the fundamental techniques, and then using the practice methods we went over to practice your peace control, you should find yourself able to peace control much more effectively and win more fights as a result. If you found this video helpful, then be sure to drop a like on it and consider subscribing as well if you're new to the channel and you want to see more tips and tricks content just like this in the future. And as always, guys, if you want to show some extra support, then feel free to use code TECHO in the item shop. It's 100% free for you. It only takes a few seconds to type in and it seriously helps me out a bunch. Thank you so much to everyone who's using it. But with all that said, thank you all for watching this video and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.